Hello, folks. Welcome to my channel, Rico's Paradigm. Today, I want to talk about the deprivation of relationships in America. I live in America most of my life, and this is something I've observed over the years being there. This blog will give people living there an insight as to the foreboding feeling you are experiencing inside. It will also give people who are planning on living there someday a better understanding as to where the American culture is going. A complex interplay of cultural, social, economic, and technological factors has led to the multifaceted issue of men and women's relationships being deprived in America. Although not all people experience this phenomenon, it does reflect a rising trend of alienation, mistrust, and discontent that many Americans have in their romantic and interpersonal relationships. It's critical to investigate a number of crucial facets in order to comprehend this deprivation, including cultural changes, shifting gender roles, the influence of technology, financial strains, mental health issues, and changing relationship expectations. Number one, changes in cultural and individualism. Particularly in the last few decades, individualism has taken center stage in American culture. The emphasis is primarily on individual success, independence, and self fulfillment. Although this can enable people to follow their dreams, it can also make it more difficult for people to build a lasting relationship. In the past, both men and women consider marriage and committed relationships as critical junctures in adulthood and as necessary components of a happy life. However, the emphasis that today's culture frequently places on independence, personal freedom, and career success can deprioritize the time and emotional investment that are necessary to maintain a relationship. Furthermore, traditional notions of courtship and long term commitment are being challenged by a significant shift in cultural norms surrounding relationships. In a society where getting married in one's early 20s was the norm, people are now choosing to put off getting married or not getting married at all. Additionally, there has been an increase in the acceptance of non traditional relationship styles such as polyamory, casual dating, and cohabitation without marriage. While these are all valid options for many people, they can occasionally add to the ambiguity and instability of relationships. Number two, change in gender roles and expectations. The way that gender roles are changing has a big impact on relationships. The conventional marriage paradigm, which envisioned men as the breadwinners and women as homemakers, has undergone significant change. In addition to having greater opportunities than ever before to pursue higher education and career advancement, women now make up a sizable portion of the workforce. Although this change is good for equality, it has also changed the dynamics of relationships. Many men and women find it difficult to balance their changing roles in romantic relationships, while women may feel pressure to balance maintaining successful careers with meeting societal expectations around family and motherhood. Men may feel unsure about how to navigate a partnership where traditional masculine roles are less clear cut. When partners' expectations are not in line, these changes can cause confusion, annoyance, and conflict. Furthermore, the conversation about toxic masculinity and the necessity for men to embrace emotional intelligence and vulnerability has been intensifying. Although this is a step in the right direction, many men find it challenging to enter into emotionally intimate relationships because of societal conditioning that frequently discourages men from expressing their emotions. Deep connections may be impeded by this emotional inaccessibility, which can leave both men and women feeling empty and disengaged. Number three, the impact of social media and technology. The way people establish and sustain relationships has been drastically changed by technology, especially with the advent of social media and dating apps. Dating apps like Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder gives user unparalleled access to possible mates, but they also promote a swipe culture that values quick satisfaction and snap decisions based solely on looks. Because the next possible match is always just a swipe away, the commoditization of dating through these platforms can lessen the incentive to spend time and effort developing meaningful connections. Furthermore, by fostering irrational expectations of romance and success, social media platforms can exacerbate the disintegration of relationships. Feelings of inadequacy and discontent can arise from being exposed to carefully chosen and idealized versions of other people's lives on a regular basis. This phenomenon, called the comparison trap, can lead people to feel that despite their relative health, their relationships are not fulfilling. Constant connectivity is another benefit of technology, but ironically, it can also cause emotional disconnection. It's possible for couples to find themselves using their devices more frequently than having deep conversations with one another. Being constantly plugged in or under pressure to keep up an online presence can make it difficult for people to be totally present in their relationships, which can result in emotional deprivation. Number four, financial instability and economic pressures. In America, relationship deprivation is largely caused by economic factors. Young adults have faced significant challenges in the past few decades due to factors such as economic inequality, rising living expenses, debt from student loans, and wage stagnation. Many people in their 20s and 30s find it difficult to attain the financial security required for marriage or committed relationships. Relationship milestones such as moving in together or starting a family can be delayed by insufficient funds for housing, healthcare, or childcare. Social pressure to support a family and be financially successful can make men feel inadequate and like failures when those expectations aren't fulfilled. One of the main factors contributing to relationship stress is financial strain. When both partners are experiencing financial instability, it can cause conflict, resentment, and eventually the dissolution of the relationship. Additionally, many people now prioritize work over relationships in order to survive as they move toward a gig economy with less stable employment prospects. There is little time or energy left over from this economic instability to build meaningful relationships, which leads to feelings of loneliness and isolation. Number five, emotional well being and mental health. An additional factor in America's relationship deprivation is mental health issues. Anxiety, depression, and loneliness rates have skyrocketed, especially for young adults. People with mental health disorders may find it challenging to establish and sustain relationships because they may have difficulties with communication, self worth, or emotional control. Particularly, loneliness has been identified as a developing public health concern. Many Americans report feeling incredibly lonely, even though technology has made them feel more connected than ever. The demise of community institutions, which traditionally offered support and chances for social interaction, like local clubs, neighborhoods, and religious organizations, can worsen this isolation. Many people are left without the network necessary to build and maintain relationships as a result of the collapse of their social structures. Furthermore, the stigma associated with mental health frequently deters people from talking to their partners about their struggles or asking for help, which causes emotional distance and miscommunication in relationships. Relationship foundations can be undermined by avoidance, withdrawal, and conflict patterns that arise when people fail to attend their mental health needs. Number six, change in expectations regarding relationships. Ultimately, changing notions of what makes a successful relationship are to blame for the dearth of relationships between men and women in America. In the past, practical factors like family ties or financial stability were major factors in the perception of marriages as partnerships. But these days, people see relationships more and more through the prism of personal development and emotional fulfillment. Many people expect their partner to fulfill all of their emotional, intellectual, and spiritual needs when they first start dating. Since no one can meet everyone's needs, these elevated expectations can put a great deal of strain on relationships. When these expectations aren't fulfilled, people could become unhappy and try to break up with their partner in search of someone more ideal. This kind of thinking can result in a vicious cycle of short term partnerships where people never stop looking for someone who fulfills an impossible ideal instead of overcoming the difficulties that inevitably cropped up in any kind of long term relationship. In summary, the lack of relationships between men and women in America is a complicated problem influenced by social, cultural, psychological, and economic variables. Many people find it challenging to navigate the shift in terrain of relationships as societal norms continue to change. Many Americans feel alienated and unsatisfied in their romantic lives for a very variety of reasons, including the rise of individualism, shift in gender roles, the influence of technology, economic pressures, mental health issues, and changing expectations. A comprehensive strategy that promotes emotional intelligence, constructive communication, and reasonable expectations in relationships will be needed to address these problems. All right, folks, that is all for today's show. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, have a good day.